Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I'm your host Ray. And today we're looking at The Incredibles as we get ready for the new year. Last year we did the first Incredibles. Today we're doing The Incredibles 2. This movie I saw in LA, world premiere screening of Incredibles 2 at the El Capitan. Amazing theater, and what they do inside to promote it and to showcase and the pageantry of it all and the level of pomp, no, let's say pomp and circumstance, but like what they do just to kick it off, it's something else. And it's I can understand how Disney owns this movie theater in LA, and when they do a premiere, it's gonna be in this theater because they really have something special. I always get emails about the premieres and stuff like that, and I wish I was living in LA. I could go to these things, but just knowing what they have and how they do it was amazing. Anyways, Incredibles 2. It takes place right after the events of the finale. The miner, who is like this underground mole man who's taking on to the city, and the Incredibles try to stop him, and deals with the aftermath of not stopping him, but having a lot of damage. It's about accountability, and now heroes are no more; they are outlawed, and it's the Incredibles living the life, or being forced to live normal lives, and yet they have to find a way to make a living, pay for their home. It's sort of like today, like just basically the cost of living is so harsh, and try to making it work, having a family, coping with a family and family problems, but also making an income and having to go to work, or having a parent to look after the child, or daycare, or the things that we now take seriously, like really seriously. They're Pixar. This is Disney and Pixar. Pixar does a wonderful thing about making it being more than just being an animated movie. Pixar always focuses on the emotional. It focuses on the dramatic side, equally, if not more so, on the emotional strings and story of at the heart of the matter of the character than is about the animation. Though the animation is paramount, the story is equally as paramount as the animation, if not more so. It's cutting edge. The first one won an Oscar. It breaks the mold again. It's the stories, the darkness of it. Even the villain. There's a scene where Helen fights a villain in a mind-bending light show of a cage, and she's being attacked. That's kind of the darkest scenes, because like she's physically being attacked, and you can see her body going limp, and she's struggling, and you can see you can make the argument of abuse and assault and all these things, and it is in a cloaked in a superhero movie. But there are some dark themes in this movie, in this animated movie, but it works really, really well. The characters are smart. Jack the baby is just, oh my gosh, it is beautifully done. The animation, the story, the conflict, the villain, how they so figured out who the villain is, and the idea of hero worship versus society, and all the themes, of heroes whose time has come and gone, coping with it, having a family dynamic where you have jealousy, or the feeling where one is succeeding because the success of one does affect the other in a relationship, and it's true in relationships how some couples break up because of it. The success of the wife overshadows the husband, or what have you, who is a money maker and who has to stay home, and so there are so many things in here that hold true, and Pixar does a wonderful job in targeting each and every one of those themes, and really fleshing it out, and really bringing that story to life, and really giving it an edge to it and significance to it, and really develops the story, because the story again is the number one thing of the Pixar movies. And Brad Bird, who directed the first one, directs this one. knocks it out of the park. This is one of those movies that exceeds your expectations. It exceeds the first one. It's it's just it's story, it's relationships, it is everything that like everything, anything, all at once. How that one is probably one of the best, uh, culturally relevant and just poignant and sci-fi and comedic and sad. That movie is A24, and it's everything you want. Like Hereditary was a movie that was family drama and heartache and loss wrapped up in a horror film, like a really scary horror film. And it twists your heartstrings. I mean, the last act goes bonkers, but like just the dramatics of that, it really gets to you. And if you're first if you're like a second generation or first generation immigrant, um, anything and everything all at once, really targets those who live it. This movie, The Incredibles 2, targets the family relationship, in terms of struggle, in terms of finances, in terms of teen angst and acceptance and sociability and accountability and losing a job and how it affects somebody and uh, a family unit and just in general, just basically the family dynamic on many levels. And it maintains all of that in a very procured, like just solid superhero film. And the superhero theme is throughout, and the villain is just brilliant. And it's just there are themes on it, and it's like it's it's like a Trojan horse of various things, and it works on as it fires on all these cylinders. And I have to believe it was nominated for a number of Oscars, and I'm sure it won a couple of Oscars. It had to have, it definitely got some nominations for sure, absolutely. And it is good, and it brings back all the original voice actors. I think but one, I think, but like it's great, and the animations is just, and the characters, and even with the dramatic side of it, just the comedy and the just the quickness of the animation and the action. Like anything and everything all at once. Whereas like it's the at the core, it's just something very very serious. But there's so much going on. There's so much levity, and there's so much darkness, and there's so much action, and there's so much light, and there's so much all these things that you can draw from it. So like if even though you're getting all this information given to you, and it's given to you on this platter. The platter is such a nice buffet that you're taking in that drama, you're taking in the excitement, and you're taking in the sorrow, and you're taking in the realism of what it's trying to say in its themes. But it's palatable because it's giving to you in such a way that it's so smooth and so delightful and such a fun roller coaster ride that you don't you it's just the palatability of it is just amazing, and it's over. And it's few films that I can say, especially in animations, that can really sell it to you and give it to you at that high caliber. But it is Pixar. Pixar is probably is the highest decorated animated studio to date, and there's a reason for it. They have more Oscars than any other animated studio to date. I mean, now they're not. I mean, their success is sort of like isn't that great, but or in terms of the last year or so. But in terms of when it does hit the mark, oh my gosh, they are. It is. It's hard to beat. They are hard to beat, and Disney, of course, is a juggernaut. So with the marriage of these two things, Incredibles 2 it's timeless. It is worth the watch, and to end the year off to watch Incredibles 2 before you go on to a world that we don't know what to expect, how good or bad or evil how this world is going to become, and you're with your family. This is the movie. It's a good ambassador to open 2023 with. So with that, I'm your host, Ray. We'll see you next year.